Hi everyone, we're going to start a little different today because this week I have some pickups, but I also have some stories to go along with them. The first one has to do with Value Village. Now, I picked up a really cool statue at Value Village this week and it was only $4.99. So I was really impressed because the same statue I saw at the pawn shop they wanted $80, although it did have the box and it didn't have a break, and it had the certificate. And the other ones, brand new, I think were about $160 for this item. So I'm going to show you what I found for $5. So for $5, I found this. It's a statue of Tails for Sonic. I'm sure everybody knows that. And it's made of resin. It's very heavy. And it does have a little broken piece right here. One of his hair pieces have broken off. But, however, I think I can make some out of resin or something like that and paint it and put it back on. I did call the company, I messaged them on Facebook and asked them if they'd give me a new certificate or if they'd be able to fix it. They said they make them all in China, and actually if you do go on their Facebook, you can see how they make all these statues, and they mass produce them, but they're very, very cool. And on the bottom is where the information is, and it says it's first 4 figures, and they're actually numbered, and it's only a limited edition of 1,500 in the world. I believe they did a second series where this lights up, but there's nowhere to put batteries in this one that I can see, so it's just the solid figure. I was really hoping also to get a Sonic to go with it, but I'm not going to be upset about getting a Tails for only $4.99. I was really surprised that they would actually put this out so cheap. So anyway, since I reported Value Village for giving out games to people they weren't supposed to be, or just to favorite customers, some games have come out that were retro finally after a very, very long time. Although they are very lame titles, I'm sure the other ones have been taken by the specific person I'm thinking of. I'll show you what I did pick up though. I got for $3.99 Tiger Heli, and I thought, anything basically cheap on the NES I'm going to take right now because it's very hard to get them. The other one I got was Art and Senna's GP Monaco, and that was $4.99, but I had a discount. Actually, I didn't have the case yet for mine, so that's what I'm going to do. And then the other game, would just be something simple to sell. But yeah, some stuff has come out. They have a Vegas Stakes there right now for Super Nintendo. I bought one there a few times before, but it's just not worth the money. I bought one in the package, so. And they now decided to put some video games, like more of them, in the showcase. I was actually buying Mario games for the Wii and stuff over on their shelf area. And so what's happened is now they put a Nintendo Wii in the showcase for $69.99 with the box, the original box. So I thought that was not too bad. I mean, it was a little high, but it wasn't too bad. But then they had a Super Mario Galaxy there, and I know the value's only about $10 retail for the Super Mario Galaxy. They had $19.99 on it, and usually the Mario games are only $7.99. So I'm a little concerned because someone did buy it. I don't know if they got a discount. And so what happened was, I'm happy that I've gotten all the Mario games so far because I think that might be the end of it because they really are trying to price them out now. And I don't know why the people working there would even give away this information because they don't own the store, but something's happened for sure. Now in my other video I was mentioning some, I did a trade tip video and I showed a Mario Party 8 in there, and that's the one I bought at Value Village, so I don't think I'm going to get these anymore. And this was only $7.99, so that's a very good value on this. Of course I bought it when it first came out. Of course I paid $40, so this one's going to be for trade or selling, and yeah, it was a good find though. Also at Value Village I picked up this for $4.99, and it's a Wii cable. What happened was I did get a Wii and this cable was totally destroyed. So I'm going to be putting it with it, but I have the Wii in storage now, so I won't be able to sell it, and I'll just put this to the side. At least I know I have it. It's official too, so $5 is really not that bad because I think, on the resale market that would be what I'd be expecting to pay for it anyway. Another cool item I got at Value Village was another little Mario Kart. I got the Donkey Kong one this time. I do have already Mario and Yoshi. For some reason they're always broken right here. I think that was a very fragile spot, and it should be up like this. And I actually got a Mario Kart race set and it had 2 of these in there, and I already had the same 2 characters, so I said, okay, I'll sell them because I don't need them. And they were in excellent condition. And then when I realized I pulled mine out, mine were actually broken. So I sold my good ones and I kept the broken ones, which I'm pretty upset about that. However, I'll just have to wait till I find some better ones eventually, if I do, and if not, I'll just have to go with what I've got, because I made a mistake. Anyway, let's get on to a new topic now, and it's going to be garage sale finds for last weekend, and I actually had a really good find, and I have a good story with it too. The first garage sale that came up this weekend was this guy, and he said he was going to have all these collectibles and all these games, and I was pretty excited about it. I didn't know who it was going to be, so I showed up pretty early in the morning when it started, and actually one of the other gamers I know was there already, but we were just sort of mumbling around. I'm pretty friendly with this person, so we were looking around at a few different things, and he was pricing some stuff out. When I asked the seller, I had seen him before at Value Village, and he actually was always buying games and shoving them in his cart with his little child and stuff like that, so I knew what we were dealing with here. And his prices were all done by price charting. So unless you really wanted a title at that full price, you were going to be spending all your money. I was not planning to spend my entire $40 at this one guy's garage sale when I knew there were other sales on and that I wouldn't be able to buy anything else. And I do buy other things besides games too. So I just basically said I'm going to leave. I bought a couple little anime comics he had there, but the rest of it, I knew he wasn't going to budge very much, and I didn't want to spend all morning negotiating. The next part, I made a small mistake. I have found this new guy in town. I'm going to call him like B-baller, because he wears a basketball jersey and a backwards hat, and he's with his wife or whatever she is. This lady comes to these sales, and she looks like she just rolled out of bed. Her hair's parted down the back into 2 braids on the sides, and it's all flat on the back, and like she's been lying on a pillow all morning, right? And she's wearing like pajama type things, these shorts, and it's really bizarre. Anyway, I think I might have seen them a few times before, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it stood out to me this morning because he showed up at this first game sale, and I didn't think much of it, so I went off to a couple other sales I had seen before going to the final one at the end of the road. And I drove past a couple times, and I saw that game guy that I already knew that was at the original sale, and he was still there negotiating with the guy, so I don't know what he got. But I knew that it wasn't going to be anything for me, so I just kept going on. Anyway, my mistake was to not go to the final sale first, because when I got there, on one table, like, it was very busy, and one table had a GameCube, and I saw that B-ball guy show up, and he was walking down to the left, and I went up to the GameCube initially because I wanted to see what titles there were. And I couldn't see the other table around behind it. I could have just gone around the corner, but instead I was looking at this GameCube, which was $60, and it had only games like Bratz and SpongeBob and all that stuff like that. So I was like, no. And as soon as I got around the corner, I saw him with a Super Nintendo in his hands. And I was like, oh no, right? And he had 2 games on the top of it, and one of them looked like it might have been Bubsy. The guy who was selling it said, oh, this game would be good for kids, but I'm thinking it might be Pocky and Rocky, because the b-ball guy was like, oh, this is worth like $100, but I don't think he really knows what he's talking about. He seems a little bit ditzy. So I just immediately left the garage sale because I knew this was going to be a bust right there. I'm thinking it probably would have been about $30 or $40 anyway for the Super Nintendo, but it's just the point that I didn't get a chance to even negotiate with it or even touch it. I've really got to be a lot faster when I get to these sales and skim over everything, but sometimes it's just hard to see everything when there's people crowded around. So anyway, I left that garage sale pretty bummed. And I decided to go to this other area of town that were having some sales. I've had some luck there before. And I went to the first one, and it was this lady who was selling like craft stuff. I had seen her before, and I said, I'll go to the one around the corner, which was a little hard to find. Then I pulled up, and I noticed this guy had a ton of PlayStation 2 games. And I said, okay, games, I'm going to get out right away. So I hopped out of the car, and I walked over there, and he had like stacks and stacks of PlayStation 2 games, which aren't the most valuable games anymore. However, I still do collect them, and I like playing quite a few of them. So I walked up there. He had a PlayStation 2, he had 2 controllers, it was a Slim, and he had all the cords, and then he had, I think, about 30 games. And I said, well, what do you want for this PlayStation? Because I thought, I'll bundle deal it first. So he's like, oh, I don't know, throw me an offer. And I thought to myself, he's a dad and stuff, and he's got all his kids here, and I thought, maybe you could just try it low for one time, just try something really low and crazy, just see what happens. So I said, how about $10? And he's like, oh, he's kind of humming and hawing a little bit. He's like, well, it comes with everything. And I was thinking, well, I don't really need just system and stuff. It's basically to resell it. So I was just looking at the games, and I know I didn't want to spend much. And he's like, oh, well, how about 15? And I'm like, are you sure you can't do 10? And then he's like, well, I guess I could. And I'm like, well, all right then, thank you. And so I said, can you get me a bag? And so because there was a lot of stuff here. So he ran in to get a bag, and then I came in behind the sale there to buy a couple other things, and then I went back up to the front of the table. So just as he was coming back outside, b-ball guy shows up, that hip-hop guy, and he's marching over with his woman, and they're getting towards my games. And I was thinking, no, you didn't. So I quickly handed the man his money and said thank you, and I was taking the bag, and just as I was going up to it, the guy starts looking through the games, and I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, I already bought those. And he's like, oh, I'm serious, his voice is like that. He's like, so how much? I had a feeling that this guy wanted to barter, or like have a bidding war with me, or say I'd pay more or something. He was just getting a little suspicious. So I turned to him and I said, actually, that's none of your business. And he's like, oh, okay, or something like that. So after that, we went to a separate garage sale next door, but when I came back out, he had gone back to the sale, probably to tell that guy how he got ripped off and stuff, although I think that guy probably would have offered him probably about the same sort of deal anyway, and he was just trying to scam me. So I'm definitely going to watch out for him, and I'm going to try to bring my camera so I can show you guys how this guy looks, because he is a total tool, and I am not going to deal with him and his crap, especially if he's trying to outbid me and play bid war games, which I am not going to do at a garage sale. That's the last thing I'm going to do. And to ask me what I paid for it, and I don't think he was even trying to be nice about it. I think he was trying to just get the upper hand. So anyway, that's my story with this week's garage sale. It was quite something. But now we have the good news of showing you what I got for $10. And we'll start with the system. Now, I have it in a bag right now because it had like a little bit of a smell of cat pee on it. My cat found it. He's good for something, right? And so it's in here, and I'll just show you that I got it legitimately. It's in here. There's the system and all the cords and all that stuff right there. So that will come out later, and even if it doesn't work, I have so many of these PlayStation 2s that, you know, that was just icing on the cake that I could sell. So anyway, let's get to the games. Surprisingly, most of them I did not have. So there's only going to be a small stack of selling, and the rest of the ones I'm keeping, and a couple of them in there I was quite excited about. So they're not super titles, but they're good. So here we go. Okay, so this is all in the $10 package. These are the ones that I already have. SmackDown versus Raw 2006. Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. And most of them have their manuals and everything too inside, because it was an adult who owned it. God of War 2. Gun. SmackDown versus Raw 2007. NHL 07. NHL 08. Okay, and now we're going to come to the games that I didn't have yet. This is still all in the $10 package. Ford Bold Move Street Racing. Racing Italiano. This guy liked racing games, but I mean, it still has brought me up to so many PlayStation games now. It's really rounded off my collection. Duel Masters Limited Edition. This is actually worth about $16. Tokyo Extreme Racer Drift, which is kind of interesting. Ford Racing 3. Sorry, it's my cat. He wants to come in. Maybe I'll let him in, but I think he'll knock my statue over. We'll see. I'll do a couple more games and I'll let him in. Risk Global Domination. Sega Genesis Collection. Matrix Path of Neo. Now this is one I was excited about. Pac-Man World Rally, because I like cute racing games, so this one's cool. NASCAR 07. NHL 09. And yeah, we still have another stack. So just give me a moment here and I'll let the cat in and I'll do the next stack. Okay, so this is my cat here. His name's Petrie. And actually I rescued him with that name. So he's a Siamese. He's the same kind of cat as Grumpy Cat. So they're a little bit moody. He wants to sit a certain way on my lap. So there he is. Yeah, I like him. I've known him for about 7 years. And the people who had him abused him. And I finally was able to get him through the SPCA legally as mine. So this is him here. And this is how Grumpy Cat would look if she didn't have that disease where she's got the frowning mouth. So it's the same kind of cat. Right, Petrie? Yeah? So anyway, that's the one you see meowing all the time. Oh, nice Petrie. Anyway, now I'm covered in cat hair. He's actually here because he's interested in the bag that smells like cat spray, and he's playing with it right now. Anyway, Bad Boys Miami Takedown. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. The Plan. Never heard of this one before. It's kind of interesting. Star Wars Starfighter. Triggerman. Twisted Metal Head On. Super Trucks Racing. Transformers the Game. Oh, Ford Racing 2. So now the full Ford Racing collection. I guess this guy really likes Fords. Corvette. Pinball Collection. And this is the last one. I had never heard of this. It's called Metropolis Mania 2. And this looks really cool because I know this is a little Japanese store, and I looked it up on YouTube to see what the gameplay was like, and it's almost like a Sims thing, and Sim City, and you run like a town and stuff. And I'm actually very, very excited to play this game. I think it's got a value of about $10, but I've never heard of it, and I just think it's really cool. And I don't know why he had it, but I'm really pleased to get this one over anything. Like most games I get, I collect, but some of them I really want to play, and this is one I want to play. Also, with that $10 package, I got a memory card to go with it too. So once I get the system up and running, maybe I will try that game before packing it up. So I was really pleased. All that for $10. That was a very good find, I think. So, yeah. Anyway, I found some more stuff during that same day at thrift stores and things. I went to this other thrift store and I found 2 PlayStation 1 games. They're in very good condition, but they're old games and they're for kids. There's XS Junior League Volleyball and Big Bass Fishing. And I had some luck at a couple more thrift stores. I got this one at Value Village, I forgot to. I got We Love Katamari, and this looks like another fun game that I really want to try. So I went to this other thrift store and they had a whole bunch of games, and I bought them all for $5. They were 50 cents each. And I bought one more the other day. Actually, one I have up for sale now. So this one here is Blinks 2. It's not really in there, but I already have the game. I didn't have the case. And I got Ice Age 2 in there. These are mostly crappy games. They're only 50 cents. True Crime Streets of LA. Skate 2, but I just needed the case. The skate inside's not in very good condition. Indiana Jones Lego and Kung Fu Panda combo. It's in very good condition. I'm going to sell it because I don't collect Xbox 360. Hitman Blood Money in there. Halo. And this one I just got for 50 cents at the same place. Original price $39.99. I've got it for sale for $25. The sealed Call of Duty combo Black Ops and Black Ops 2. So I thought it was pretty good. I got some offers on already, but people are really flaky with picking this stuff up. So we'll see what happens. And another final cool item I got was Super Mario Checkers. That was in there. And it's actually in really good condition. And I think it was only about 50 cents as well. So I thought it was cool. I don't know how to play checkers, but it's just cute. And I like the game board. It's really nice. It's like this here. So I don't think I've missed anything this week. I thought there was something else, but I can't think of it at the moment. So anyway, I hope you guys all liked watching, and I'll try my best to check out your videos as well. And until next time, see you later. Bye. Say goodbye, Petrie. Say goodbye.